My story all started in my country. When I was 12 years old, my father couldn't find a job because the companies said to him that he was really old for all the jobs. But he only was 39 years old, so for the lack of job, he decided to go to Spain to seek a better future for us. 3 years later, my siblings grew up and we got good news. My father told us that we could go to Spain. It meant that we had to leave our family and friends in Peru. When we arrived in Pamplona, it was June. My father, my aunt, and my cousins were waiting for us. I remember that we spent a beautiful summer because my family was finally reunited. Days passed and summer ended, and I had to come back to school. At that point, I was 15 years old and I was in the last year of secondary school. I remember my first day of high school. It was terrifying because I was the newbie at the very height of everyone's friendship. And I remember walking into the corridor and seeing that everyone had their group of friends and just didn't know what to do. So I went into the classroom and I started like looking, I was doing something and then I looked over and there was this girl smiling at me. And she just came over and she was like, "Do you want to like sit with me during lesson way? Because I don't recognize you." And I was like, I looked around and said, "Me? Are you sure?" Whether she knew at that moment what impact she had on me or not, after that I started meeting people and it just organically happened. We didn't stay like best friends throughout high school, but even up until like graduation, I remember going back to her 3 years later and saying, "Thank you. I don't think you know how much that meant to me." But all I needed, or didn't even know I needed at that time, was for one person to just invite me to go sit with them or to look like I was a part of something. I think that in these situations, when someone new comes to your school or any other place, it's just about reaching out, and you don't have to be like best friends with that person. It's just making feel someone included, and more than that feeling of feeling less than. So yeah, that was my story.